Thanks to good starting pitching, the Royals' 5-game losing streak has turned into a 2-game winning streak. Luke Hochevar held down one of the best hitting teams in the American League on Thursday, and last night, Jeff Francis won his first game, holding down one of the best offensive teams in the National League. Hoping to make it 3 in a row, Nate Adcock makes his first Major League start today on Fox Sports Kansas City. Rainbows follow the storms, and Joakim Soria's rainball curveball followed a stormy day in Kansas City. And in Game 1 of interleague play, the Royals shut out the Cardinals 3-0 last night. Now this afternoon, the Royals go for their 3rd consecutive win. Hi everyone, welcome back to Kauffman Stadium with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. And right now the Royals are going through a tough stretch on offense, but they can live with that for the time being if they get the starting pitching they've received the last 2 games.
I tell you, the starting pitch has been just beautiful. I mean, this is what the Royals have been waiting for, and to get that bullpen some rest. And Luke Hochevar and Jeff Francis, they really lived up to the billing the last 2 nights.
Hochevar against the Rangers, they were without a couple of key players, but still a good offensive team. 8 2/3 innings, gives up 1 run. And then Jeff Francis against a team that leads the league in runs in the National League, gives up no runs in 7 2/3 innings. Let's begin with Hochevar and some of the defense he got on Thursday.
Well, you don't really get good defense played behind you unless you are throwing strikes, unless you're putting the ball in play early. And in Luke's case, he put the ball on the ground and the guys were ready to make the plays, and it was outstanding to watch the defense play behind him.
And then Jeff Francis last night against the Cardinals.
I tell you, both had the same recipe. Francis kept the ball on the ground. He had some tough innings where the first guy got on, but he was able to get the ball back on the ground, and the defense made plays behind him to get him out of trouble.
Royals made some roster moves recently because of an overworked bullpen, but because of Hochevar and Jeff Francis, the Royals so far have needed fewer than 3 innings from their bullpen in the last 2 nights. Joakim Soria got the save last night. What did you think about him?
Well, this is what we used to see for Joakim Soria. He comes in, he throws his fastball, he gets it down, gets his ground balls, and then he gets to that situation where he gets to his signature pitch, which is that slow curveball, and when he gets to that point, you feel like he's on a roll.
Today, the Royals will face Jake Westbrook, who has an ERA over 6. Billy Butler's done well against him in the past. He is 2 out of 5. We'll talk about the Cardinals on offense when we come back. Royals baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. When you play, students win. Hoping for a big crowd here at Kauffman Stadium today in Game 2. Cardinal fans are hoping for some more offense this afternoon. The Cardinals were shut out for just the 2nd time this year last night. Here's their batting order presented by Southwest Airlines. Still without Lance Berkman, and certainly a key last night was holding Albert Pujols and Matt Holliday to 2 hits with no RBIs. They'll be getting their first look at Nate Adcock today.
Well, Nate Adcock's going to take his game from the relief from the bullpen to the mound. He's going to try to be the same type of pitcher, use his sinker, keep the ball down, and let his defense on the infield help him get through some early innings.
And speaking of the Royals defense, here's how they line up today. Presented by Ram Trucks. No changes in the outfield. On the infield, however, it'll be Mike Aviles at third base in place of Wilson Betemit. And behind the plate today, it will be Matt Trainer. The Royals in the National League have now held Albert Pujols in the ballpark for 92 consecutive games. That's the longest route of his career. Can Nate Adcock do that today? The first pitch is coming up next. Royals baseball comes to you from beautiful Kauffman Stadium in high definition. Brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Get no-fee HD with digital TV from Time Warner Cable. Let's go out to left field and welcome in Joel Goldberg.
Well, Ryan, Nate Adcock made his big league debut as a reliever on opening day at Kauffman Stadium in front of a big crowd that included friends and family. Today, he makes his first major league start here at Kauffman Stadium in front of a big crowd that includes about 15 to 20 family members. I asked him about his approach. He said he'd treat it like any other game coming out of the bullpen. He did just walk out of the bullpen to start his warm-ups. It was interesting because, Ryan, you've mentioned before, and I'll attest to this. He's one of the more friendly, talkative guys you can meet, and he certainly was friendly this week, but you could see a little bit shorter in his comments, a little bit more focused as he got ready for Saturday, guys.
All right, thank you, Joel. And Nate Adcock made 26 starts last year, but that was an A ball with the Pittsburgh Pirates at Bradenton. In fact, 90 of his first 102 professional appearances came as a starting pitcher. Here's a strike to Ryan Theriot. 6'5", 220 pounds. And with that sinking fastball, that creates challenging downward angles for the batter. And the question has come up so many times, why was Nate Adcock available? Why didn't the Pirates protect him? And the Royals basically drafted him because of that one pitch, thinking they could work around that. In the minor leagues with the Pirates, he actually was 10 games below 500 with an ERA of 4, but what a seamless transition he has made from A ball to the big leagues.
Well, I'd say it's all about attitude, and Joel said it in the opening that he's a very confident guy and very approachable, but he's got to be able to keep the ball down.
And that was a breaking ball that stayed up on 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ryan Theriot begins the game with a double.
When you're a sinker baller and that's your best pitch, sometimes when you have to go to a breaking ball, sometimes they tend to hang a little bit. So I think in those situations there, stay with that sinker, get the ball on the ground, and just more or less focus on burying that slider down underneath the swing of the hitter.
Theriot has a 7-game hitting streak. And now John Jay, he will bat second today. Last night, John Jay was the Cardinals' number 7 hitter, so he moves up to number 2. Colby Rasmus will bat 5th today. Two hits for John Jay and a stolen base last night. And still playing in right field is Lance Berkman. Is still bothered by a sore wrist, and there's a very good chance we won't see Berkman at all in this series. Much to the chagrin of nobody.
He's pretty hot, so he can stay where he's at for a while.
2 bunted fouls. The Royals going to try and jump on it before it spins back to the line. 0-2. Beautiful sunny day in Kansas City, 76 degrees. We started at 1:10, and the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. So John Jay moving up to the number 2 position, and right away given a bat control responsibility to get the runner over to third, and has fouled off 2 bunts.
I think sometimes hitters get between drag bunting the ball and just squaring around and just making a sacrifice bunt, and I think that's where you get in trouble when you drag, because you get the ball too close to the line. So just give yourself up and get it out in the green area there and get the runner over.
Boy, not only did he foul 2 bunts off, he swings and misses at a pitch in the dirt and doesn't even make a move towards first base.
Well, you're right. That's something you just can't have happen when you're a young player. You got to always assume that that ball's going to get away from the catcher when it's in the dirt, and you got to hit the first base.
Just to add to what Joel was saying about Nate Adcock's demeanor, and no change as far as his attitude, his approach, going from reliever to starter today. And that really began for him in spring training. Just talking to him about that big jump and the rush of going from the lower levels of the minor leagues to the highest level. He throws ball 1 to Albert Pujols. And even in the early part of spring training, Nate Adcock just seemed to have the confidence and the poise, and would say oftentimes, I'm not going to change anything. I mean, this is what they drafted, so I'm going to give them what they took in the Rule 5.
I tell you, he said earlier when he went those long stretches when he didn't pitch, and he said all I tried to do down there was watch the guys who've been here before me, watch Tejeda, watch Teixeira when he was down there, watch Joakim Soria and how they get ready for their outing on the mound, watch them how they go through their preparation, and Soria especially because he gets close to the 9th inning with a lead. Just watch the different demeanor he develops when he gets ready to pitch. So he said he learned more from just sitting down there watching and talking to those guys those days when he wasn't pitching.
Second pitch got a big chunk of the strike zone, although Pujols has never seen Nate Adcock. And now swings right over the top. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, Nate's throwing a better slider than he did that first slider to Terrio. They gave up the double on it. The last ones he went down underneath the swing of John Jay. That's a harder slider. That's the one with 2 strikes you want to go for the strikeout with and try to get the hitter to either chase it or have a check swing. So the slider has improved.
Just foul.
Well, this pitch right here stayed up, and Albert Pujols really turned on it, and Joe West down at third baseline. He had to do some tap dancing and watching the ball at the same time.
By the way, since you brought that up, I hear that Joe West is an excellent tap dancer.
He sings and taps at the same time.
Just nicked it.
You see those groupings of pitches that Albert's gotten. I really think Nate would probably rather have those more to the outer half of the plate. Now this is an outstanding pitch here. And so when you get guys like Albert Pujols swinging that pitch, that means that you're really disguising that pitch very well.
Pujols 1 out of 3 last night with a double and a walk. Rolled to Escobar. So Terrio moves up to third as Pujols is thrown out, and there are 2 down. Nate Adcock, originally from the Mariners organization, a 5th-round pick in '05. So the Mariners once had big plans for him. And then in 2009 traded to the Pirates, and that was a trade that affected the Royals. The Mariners got shortstop Jack Wilson from Pittsburgh. That made Yuniesky Betancourt expendable. He came to KC. Outside ball 1 to Matt Holliday. So Adcock finished off the 2009 season in the Pirates organization, then all of 2010. Matt Holliday is the National League's leading hitter, .357. 1 for 3 with a walk last night, with runners in scoring position, hitting .432. His teammate on the bench with a sore wrist, Lance Berkman, right behind him. (3-0). Holliday ended up with a solid season last year, but when the Royals and Cardinals hooked up, he was in the middle of struggling in the first half, and he did not hit well with runners in scoring position. He got that going in the second half, and many felt like he might have been feeling the pressure of a mega contract that he had signed the winter before.
And you see that a lot too, and I think a lot of times the guy's the same player. He just tries to do a little bit too much, and you're trying to justify it, and you only have so much ability. So just let your ability take over. Don't worry about the money. That came from what you did before. Now you just got to go forward from there.
Just inside for a walk. So first and third with 2 down.
Well, it's good action on this changeup. It's just right in on the inside corner of the plate right there. Holliday gave up on it, but Nate didn't get the call. You would think, Ryan, too, there's a different mindset when you go from the bullpen. The bullpen, you got 1 inning when you come out of there, and you basically are going to use maybe 1 or 2 pitches to try to get through that inning, where now he's starting. Now he's using his sinker, his slider, and his changeup.
There's the sinker, a ground ball. Hosmer to the bag, and Nate Adcock holds down the Cardinals in the first inning. No score to the bottom of the first inning, and let's take a look at how the Royals are lined up today. And it'll be Alex Gordon leading off again, so he'll stay in the leadoff spot. On base twice last night with a single and a walk. Changes from last night. Mike Aviles will be at third base in place of Wilson Bettemy. And behind the plate will be Matt Trainer. Trainer moves up to the number 7 position. And the Royals will be facing right-hander Jake Westbrook.
Well, Jake Westbrook usually has one of the best sinkers in the game. Very high ground ball percentage. He gets in trouble when he elevates a little bit. If he has too many deep counts and has to bring the ball up, that's when he has problems.
An ERA of over 6, 6.07 in 9 starts. And Alex showing bunt. That brings Descalzo in at third base a few steps. He is way off the line. Boy, if Alex could slap one up the third base line, he could run all day.
Just go ahead and just push one that direction, and he's had a chance to beat it out. But Westbrook really works quick, and if he gets on a roll where he's throwing a lot of strikes, then raw hitters might want to step out and take a little more time getting in the box. But he's one of the fastest workers in the game.
Now, he won't do it now with 2 strikes, but if Alex were to lay down a bunt, you can see what he was thinking about. I mean, that you don't even have to lay down a good bunt to the third base side. There's just nobody over there. He rolls it to second. Green throws him out, 1 away. Now the Cardinals defensively, Alan Craig, Colby Rasmus, and John Jay in the outfield. So Matt Holliday is the DH. Lance Berkman is still out. Same infield as last night. And the 3-time Gold Glover Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Another ground ball to Green. This time he moves to the middle. 5 pitches, 2 down. Periodically, we look at the whip statistic, walks and hits per innings pitched, which lets you know how many base runners that a pitcher is dealing with. And Jake Westbrook, 1.70. That is the highest in the National League. So on average, if you combine his hits and his walks, he's dealing with almost 2 base runners per inning. Normally, you'd like to have a little bit of balance, or an imbalance, I should say, between walks and hits. A pitcher that has a high number of walks, well, you figure his opponent's batting average will be lower to negate that. And then a pitcher that gives up a lot of hits and is around the strike zone quite a bit, well, then you figure his walks are low. Good example of that was the 2 pitchers last night, Chris Carpenter, Jeff Francis. Both give up a lot of hits, but hardly give up any walks.
Make them earn it.
Still 0-2 on Eric Hosmer. 2 more hits last night, so he checks in at .314. And that target is out in right field. Chase an off-speed pitch away, and it's a 9-pitch first inning for Westbrook and the Cardinals. Royals baseball is brought to you by AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By Panera Bread Catering. Order online at PaneraKansas.com. And by Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Second inning, no score. Nate Adcock worked around a leadoff double in the first inning. Also gave up a walk, but no runs. Royals down 1-2-3 against Westbrook in the bottom of the first. Yadier Molina takes a strike. 0 for 3, a walk last night. That put an end to a 4-game hitting streak, which is nothing really to brag about, but it was a 4-game hitting streak where he had at least 2 hits in each of those 4 games, and he was 10 for his last 15 going into last night's game. Pass to Aviles at third and down into the left field corner. Gordon on it quickly, and the throw is just a little bit offline, and that may have cost the Royals an out. Alex has made stronger throws than that. Came in on a couple of bounces, and it was to the inside portion of second base.
Just right inside the bag. Aviles dives across the line but couldn't cut it off. And Alex does get it in good shape, Ryan, facing second base, but the ball trails up the line a little bit, and Molina was able to get in there. Yeah, Alex was definitely disappointed about that throw. There's Molina, and there's a tag. Hand just in there. But I like the way Chris Getz got down in the dirt, though. I do like that.
So we'll see if Hadcock can work around another leadoff double. The key out for him in the first was striking out John Jay, who was trying to bunt the runner up. Jay ended up striking out after fouling off 2 bunts, and now Alan Craig will try to at least get Molina to third base. 1 for 4 with a strikeout last night, grounded into a key double play in the 6th inning against Jeff Francis. The center field, well hit, and Melky makes a great catch. And Molina was halfway in between second and third, so he has to return to second base.
I'll tell you, the only question you can ask about Molina is why. I mean, you have no reason to take off on this ball because you can score even by standing on second base if it gets over his head. So you got to be able to at least get back and tag and get to that next base. And Melky Cabrera makes a great adjustment out there, Ryan, on this ball. It takes off on him, and he just increased his speed, jumped at the right time, and made a great play.
And if you're Molina, Frank, I mean, you don't necessarily have to be at the bag, but just be 2 or 3 steps away from the bag. You'd still have time to go back to second and tag, but he just got so far away from second base that he was either going to score if it dropped or nothing else.
Well, you got, like you say, he's got to be anywhere but second base, and that's a bad read. And if you hit that, if Craig hits that ball like that, he's feeling pretty good that he got the job done. He looks up, he's credited with not doing anything to help the ball club, and because he doesn't get to the next base.
2-0 on Daniel Descalzo. 0 for 2 last night.
Now you can always ask yourself at the end of a lot of games, why did we lose by 1 run? You know, it's just things like that that cost you 90 feet, and it may be the difference at the end of the ball game.
3-0. Descalzo getting some time at third base. David Freese is on the disabled list. He had started 21 games at third before breaking his left hand. He was hit by a pitch and went on the DL on May the 2nd. 3-2. Nate Adcock's longest outing in the bullpen was 3 1/3 innings. So you figure if he can keep his pitch count down today, maybe he could stretch that to 4 innings, if not 5 or more. However, that 3 1/3 innings was about a month and a half ago. That was April the 8th at Detroit. As a reliever, he was much more than just a 1-inning pitcher. 8 appearances, and half of those were more than 2 innings. He has been up in the strike zone so far to Descalzo. And that's out over the plate, but it's pulled to Getz. 2 outs. Molina goes to third. And Tyler Green coming up. Here's today's You Call It question presented by Sprint. And talking about how many innings he will go today, let's ask you. Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, followed by a space. A for 3 innings, B 4, C 5 innings, or D 6 innings. And now ball 1 on Tyler Green.
Yeah, Nate's pretty pumped about this start. I talked to him yesterday, and I think he's got about 20 family members that came in for this ball game. So this is a big production for him. This is a big start.
Drilled to left field. Back goes Alex. He's got it. Two good plays in the outfield. Alex for the third out, but the best play of the inning was the first out. Melky Cabrera taking a hit and a run away from the Cardinals. An excellent play in center field by Melky Cabrera, so no score as we go to the bottom of the second inning. And we encourage you to email the booth today. Go to carsoup.com/Royals. Once you're there, CarSoup will ask for your zip code. Go ahead and fill that in, and you'll be sent to a different page where you can submit your question, and Joel Goldberg is waiting on the other side. Jeff Francoeur, Billy Butler, and Mike Aviles. No balls, 2 strikes on Francoeur. 0 for 4 last night, but a tough luck 0 for 4. Had a couple of lineouts. Batting at .287. Still leading the Royals with 8 home runs. Two and two. Angel Hernandez is the home plate umpire today. He has ejected Jeff Francoeur twice in his career, and with the end of times predicted for today, it's nice to know we have 2 Angels on the field. Brian Knight threw out Jeff Francoeur in April when the Royals were in Texas. So I believe, as the story goes, that was the 3rd time Francoeur had been ejected in his big league career, with the first 2 ejections coming from today's home plate umpire.
Angels and Knights.
I mean, how do you throw out Jeff Francoeur? He's such a nice guy.
There's always some magic words that you use.
There is the automatic ejection vocabulary handbook. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I had umpires tell me when I first came up, they said, you can say pretty much anything you want as long as you don't put "you" in front of it.
Up the right field line, but slicing foul. An 8-pitch at bat for Francoeur. We spent a lot of time last night talking about Chris Carpenter and how he's come back from injuries. Jake Westbrook has done the same. In 2008 alone, he had Tommy John surgery and right hip surgery. Pitched in only 5 games in 08 and missed all of 2009. Great at bat. Boy, Francoeur, he was down 0-2, got the count to 3-2, fouled off 3 in a row, and takes a walk to lead off the second inning. Final game of this series is tomorrow afternoon. It'll be Sean O'Sullivan against Jaime Garcia, and it's a family fun day Sunday, a 1:10 game with live entertainment, face painters, a balloon artist, and much more in the outfield experience before the game. Gates open at 11:30. Now a strike on Billy Butler. Last year, the Royals saw Westbrook once, and he was pitching for the Indians, and that was a big game for Westbrook. He beat the Royals almost a year ago, and it was his first big league win in 2 years. And when he started to regain his velocity, regain his movement, he became attractive to the Cardinals, and they acquired him in a trade from the Indians. Westbrook is 6-3 in his career against the Royals with an ERA below 3. One and two on Billy Butler. This could be one of those games similar to last night, where when it's all said and done, we could be talking about the importance of defense. You got 2 guys that rely on contact, a lot of sinkers. We'll see whose defense is stronger today.
Well, we definitely will see that, and Billy's got a good approach right here, trying to go the other way, and that'll get him in the air.
in the air to right, and backing up is John Jay. So Francoeur is back to first, one out. When you have two sinker baller pitchers like this, and let's say you arrive in the 6th or 7th inning and you wonder how's the game going, sometimes you don't even have to look at the scoreboard. You could just look at the dirt and the grass in front of home plate, and if the grass has divots like a fairway on a golf course, well, then you know that both pitchers are throwing their game. As of right now, it looks good.
You know, you go to Detroit, you know how wet they make it out in front of home plate, and they really wet it good in front of home plate what the Tigers do. And I think that when Sparky Anderson had the Tigers, they were the same way.
3-6 reverse double play, and the Royals send just 3 to the plate in the second. No score, top of the 3rd inning. Nate Adcock and Jake Westbrook today. We remind you to look for the Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment later in today's game. Nate Adcock would like to be a part of that. His first major league start after 8 appearances out of the bullpen. 90 of his first 102 professional appearances were as a starting pitcher. Wondering how long he will go today. That's a subject of our Sprint You Call It question. 57% lead the way. They hope or predict that he will go 4 innings. His season high is 3 1/3. 2 scoreless innings for Nate, but he has done it the hard way. He has gotten around 2 leadoff doubles, and Ryan Theriot, who's in the box now, doubled to open the game. But then Adcock struck out John Jay, who did not advance Theriot, then got a ground ball after a walk to Holiday, got a ground ball from Rasmus, and got out of the first. Backhanded by Escobar. High throw. Hosmer reaches up, keeps his foot on the bag, 1 away. Today is a carsoup.com email the booth day, and let's check in with Joel.
All right, got a few questions coming in, Ryan. First from John Russell in Olathe that wants to know the simple question: have the Royals ever swept the Cardinals in a series? 2 times it has happened, June 12th through the 14th of 2001 here, and then June 17th through the 19th, 2008 at St. Louis. So that's an easy one. And of course, they shut them out for the first time in the regular season last night. But Frank, I think you probably remember another shutout in the playoffs, don't you?
Well,
might have been.
I remember like 2 shutouts
in the World
Series. Yeah, John Tudor shut us out.
I meant the other way around, the good way.
Well, you said you remember other shutouts. Yeah, game 7, beautiful.
11-0, right?
Yeah. I just want to give them a little equal play here.
Well, but last night was the first time the Royals had shut out the Cardinals in the regular season, so just wanted to look back at that.
John Jay with a solid base hit to center field. Jay and the Cardinals would have liked that back in the first, and he struck out with a runner at second. So 1 on 1 out for Albert Pujols. Nate Adcock got him on a slow roller to short in the first inning. Off of his foot, 0-1.
Got another question, guys, from Noah Eidson, I think it's pronounced, from Raymore. Why do pitchers flip their gloves during warm-ups?
Oh, I think what he's talking about, he's just letting the catcher know what type of pitch he's throwing at that time to the plate. You know, to just see it's curveball, whether it be a slider, change up, or they kind of motion ahead for the fastball. Just mainly just let the catcher know what's coming.
So pitcher with palm down, kind of flicking the tip of the glove towards the catcher. That means fastball.
That's fastball.
And then
when they roll it over,
that's curveball. And when they do it to the side,
that's change.
And then slider, right?
I'm sorry, that's slider. And change is when they have the palm up at you and they bring it back to themselves.
And then sometimes they'll just point the glove at the catcher and tilt the glove down, which usually means a split. Smart hitters, before the game even begins in the first inning, will especially the guys coming up, the guys on deck. The pitcher will show the catcher what he's throwing, and that can be a way to evaluate what his pitches are doing.
Well, that's the good there. Reese did it all the time, Ryan, and we would look to see if he was throwing that pitch for a strike, and if he worked on it more than 2 or 3 times and it wasn't a strike, then we would eliminate that pitch as being the first pitch from the pitcher at that at bat. So you can learn a lot from watching those 8 warm-up pitches that a guy gets between innings.
And boy, do you want to think outside the bun when you're pitching to Albert Pujols. Not quite like that, but Adcock definitely was trying to pitch him inside. Drills him with a 1-2 pitch, and there are 2 on.
Well, most of the pitches he's thrown him have been inside. He's been trying to run the sinker in on his hands, and that one just got a little bit too far inside. So it looks like the plan for Pujols is to try to crowd him.
Hey, Ryan and Frank, you'll remember that Nate hit Robinson Cano, knocked him out of the game at Yankee Stadium. Seemed a little bit shaken, and I asked him about it after that game, and he said, yeah, I mean, you don't want to hit anybody in the head, but I have to pitch inside.
Melky runs another one down. Not as difficult as the play on Alan Craig, but that's the second out of the inning. The Cardinals have had 3 outs to the outfield, well hit in the last 2 innings.
Where's the cutoff man on that one? That's way too high. Well, I agree with Joel. I think you do have to pitch inside. That's part of a pitcher's game. And if you don't pitch inside, these hitters up here, they'll take the plate from you. You have nowhere to go.
Good movement on that pitch. A strike to Colby Rasmus. He grounded out in the first inning. 0 for 5 in the series after going 5 for 11 against the Royals with a couple of home runs last year. Staring down John Jay at second base. Colby Rasmus becomes impatient at the plate.
I think Nate Adcock has worked with Escobar a lot, and he's trying to make sure he has every opportunity to put a pickoff player in if he wants. And Esky will come in and he'll take that right hand in motion, go ahead and pitch, but they just haven't gotten there. They're just not synchronized back there, so he's giving them a little bit longer look and a little bit longer to make a decision back there. Oh, nice job by Matt Trainer behind the plate.
Two and 1. Cardinals now been shut out in this series in 11 2/3 innings. At home, they play in one of the most player-friendly ballparks in America as far as the home team goes. But the Cardinals lead their league in runs scored on the road, averaging about 6.5 runs per game away from Busch Stadium. But not last night.
All right, you take a look at Escobar behind him. Now, Nate's going to give him a look and give him every opportunity, but if he's not going to put a pickoff player in, he just takes that right hand and says, go ahead and pitch.
And of course, that's so obvious to everybody else in the ballpark if they're paying attention, if they're looking at that. But the only one that it really pertains to is the runner, and he can't see what's going on behind him. Does the third base coach watch that and communicate that to the runner?
I don't think they have enough time. I think that you get close enough to let the base runner know that you're in the area, and the third base coach is watching the shortstop, but there's not enough time between he motions for Adcock to pitch than tell the hitter to get off more.
There it is, just a little flick of the wrist and a strikeout. The Cardinals have 3 hits, 2 doubles, 2 walks, no runs. Like Buck O'Neil, Jesse Milan is a pioneer. He was the first African-American teacher hired in Lawrence, Kansas back in 1954, and the first black professor hired at Baker University. Also the first African-American to manage a summer recreation program in Lawrence. Professor Milan was awarded an honorary doctorate of education in 2001 at Baker. Sitting in Buck's seat today, no score to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and Jake Westbrook with 1 pitch and a ground ball gets Matt Trainer. The Royals are hitless so far in 2 1/3 innings. Only 1 out in the air so far for Westbrook, and now he gets Chris Getz. Two hits and a run scored last night for Chris Getz, getting his batting average up to .230. He is seeing Jake Westbrook for the first time. For Jake Westbrook, this is career start number 16 against the Royals, but he hasn't seen much of these Royals. You go up and down the lineup. Alex Gordon, 4 career at-bats. Melky Cabrera has the most, 14. These are all before the game today. Eric Hosmer, none. Jeff Francoeur, 3. Billy Butler, 5. Mike Avilas, 3. Matt Trainer, 1. Chris Getz, none. Alcides Escobar, 3. Got a piece of the catcher Yadier Molina, so home plate umpire Angel Hernandez goes through the routine of wiping off the plate, even though it doesn't need to be wiped off, just to give Molina a little extra time.
Well, even though you got coverage there with those shin guards, that inside of the knee, that's a pretty tender area. And he took that one full force.
Reaching out, rolled to Green, and there are 2 down. Another ground ball out for Westbrook. Royals hoping that today will be a breakout day on offense. They really haven't had a big game at the plate since a week ago Thursday when they beat the Yankees 11-5. Royals have scored just 14 runs in their last 7 games, but they have won their last 2. Facing a pitcher today with an ERA over 6. But you don't figure the Royals will beat Jake Westbrook with the long ball. He's only given up 3 home runs all year. And if you add in today's work, or make that no home runs in his last 43 2/3 innings.
That means that sinker's really working, and if he gets beat, it means the ball's on the ground, but the defense not able to make the plays.
He went around. Angel Hernandez making the call. 2-1. Always a fast worker. Westbrook gets a pop up to shallow right, and John Jay was shallow in right. And it's 3 hitless innings for Jake Westbrook. Nobody scored last night until the 7th inning, and no score today as we go to the top of the 4th and look at today's Roadrunner Turbo speed pitch comparison. And both Jake Westbrook and Nate Adcock, sinker ball pitchers. They both have topped out at 95. Now fast is even faster. Double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo. Yadier Molina doubled leading off the second inning. Now he pops this one up. The wind might give the Royals some trouble. And Getz moving out from second base with the sunglasses on, so battling the wind and the sun. And one away. It has not been an easy first 3 innings for Nate Adcock. A leadoff double in the first, but then he struck out John Jay. That was a big at bat. Cardinals were scoreless. Leadoff double in the second, and then this great play in center field by Melky Cabrera. So Molina had to go back to second base. Cardinals were scoreless. 2 on, 1 out in the third. Matt Holliday drives it to deep center field. That was run down by Melky Cabrera. And after all that, Adcock with 3 scoreless innings.
He'll take it.
Now 1-1 on Craig. In his last 4 games, he has played left field twice, second base, and right field. So the 2 corner outfield positions as well as second base.
That makes him a valuable player. But you watch Nate Adcock, most of the right-handed hitters, Ryan, everything is going into the right-handed hitter. I don't know if that's by design or not on his sinker, but everything seems to be crowding the right-handed hitters with the sinker going in.
Good slider down and away, and Adcock has his 3rd strikeout. Final game of the homestand is tomorrow. Then the Royals are on the road for a week. They'll be back for Memorial Day, Monday, May the 30th, and we'll be hosting the Angels at 3:10. And you can purchase $5 Hy-Vee level tickets for that game. So spend Memorial Day with the Royals here at Kauffman Stadium. Fouled away by Daniel Descalzo, grounded out to second base. First time up.
You know, Nate's slider's really gotten better as the game's gone along, and he had a flat one early, but he's found that good one for a strikeout pitch.
He only needs 8 pitches to get past the Cardinals in the 4th. They'll make it 4 scoreless innings for Nate Adcock in his first major league start. And in today's Sprint You Call It question, 44%, well, 48% thought only 4 or less. Nobody's warming up in the bullpen, so he'll shoot for 5. 40% predicting that for Nate's effort today. Alex Gordon trades a bat for a base hit. 1 for 2, and the Royals have the leadoff man on in the 4th inning. And that bat produced the first hit today against Jake Westbrook.
Well, you're right, Ryan. Any hitter will always exchange a bat for a base hit, and Alex's strength really is the only thing that got him a base hit in this situation. This bat just splits right down the middle. You don't see that very often, and the ball still has enough air underneath it to get to the outfield.
Royals had 1 base runner in the first 3 innings. Jeff Francoeur reached with a leadoff walk in the second, but 2 batters later, Westbrook got a double play ground ball from Mike Aviles. Royals have only 2 stolen bases in their last 8 games. They still lead the league with 48 this year, but not much action on the bases this past week. Westbrook has always been, as we said earlier, a pitcher that handles the running game well, quick to the plate, quick to first. And a strike on Melky Cabrera. Grounded out to second base his first time up. Melky has the most experience of all the Royals in the past against Westbrook by a pretty big margin. Now has 15 at bats against Westbrook. The next closest would be Billy Butler and Alex Gordon with 6. And Melky only has 1 career hit against Westbrook. now 2. That's the first hit that has stayed in the ballpark against Westbrook. Alex to third, safe. Down to second, Melky Cabrera.
Ryan, what you see here is good base running on both guys' part. Alex Gordon sees his ball in the left center field. He does a great job of reacting to it, going to third base, and then watch Alex come around here. I mean, there's no stopping right there. He's going all the way. And Cabrera see the direction the throw's going, then he goes right into second base. You can see the ball and Alex there right at the same time, but Alex ahead of the baseball.
Outside ball 1 on Hosmer, struck out on a changeup in the first inning. He has a 5-game hitting streak, and all 5 of those games have been against first place clubs: Cleveland, Texas, and now the Cardinals. Outside 2-0. Today's league leaders brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Royals rookie first baseman in the month of May, leading all rookies with 3 home runs, 3rd in batting average, 4th in RBIs, 4th in slugging percentage, and many of those hits have come late in the game when the Royals have needed them the most.
Well, and I tell you, that's the mark of a good hitter. That's a guy that can hit in the clutch, and so far he's shown to be that type of player. I think if Alan Craig had to do that all over again, he would have thrown that ball at second base and kept the double play in order.
4-pitch walk, and the Royals have the bases loaded with nobody out. Joe Goldberg.
Well, Ryan, you were talking a little bit about the base running and the stealing, and of course earlier this week Royals picked off of first a couple of times. Jeff Francoeur thrown out at second trying to stretch a single to a double. I asked Doug Sisson, the base running coach, yesterday if there was any thought of backing off a little bit, and he said he's oblivious to the criticism. He doesn't want to hear any of it. He wants the identity of this team to be aggressive. As far as the moves from Neftali Feliz, yes, they need to be able to read those a little better through video. But when Jeff Francoeur got thrown out, his head was down a little bit, and he said, I don't want his head down. Last week, if he gets thrown out, he felt good about being aggressive. This time, he was maybe questioning himself a little bit, and so Doug Sisson immediately said, good hustle. He wants these guys aggressive no matter what, based on the situation, but don't rein back. That's what he believes they need to do to win games, guys.
Well, aggressive base running has helped set up this inning. Jeff Francoeur grounds it foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch prior to that was ruled outside by Angel Hernandez, but Westbrook kind of glared in from the mound, questioning that call.
Well, what Westbrook would love to have here is a ground ball to third base. A lot of times they want to keep the ball on the corners when they have runner in scoring position at third base, and they get an opportunity to get the runner at the plate.
2 balls, 1 strike. Now, according to Fox Tracks, that first pitch that Westbrook liked was just out of the zone. Back to Westbrook. He'll go to the plate for 1. Down to first. 1, 2, 3. Not what the Royals were hoping for, but in some ways, that's not the worst double play because you still have 2 runners in scoring position.
You got 2 runners in scoring position, but this is what that good sinker will create. And as a hitter, you try to pull the sinker, and then that's what's going to happen. It's going to be on the ground right back through the middle. You almost have to go the other way, try to get it in the air. But Westbrook helped himself definitely on that ground ball right there. 1, 2, 3 double play. You don't see that very often.
And you talk about a Royal that's due for a big hit. It's Billy Butler, who's been hitting the ball hard all week.
He had a good approach the first time up, so if he stays with that approach, I think he's got a good chance of hitting the ball hard. And if he tries to pull and roll over on Jake Westbrook, he'll get a ground ball. But he's been doing a great job going back through the middle to right center field.
0-1. A wise baseball veteran shared something with me today I hadn't heard before. He said, Billy Butler's got a good swing right now. He just has a dumb bat. The bat just keeps hitting the ball right into the defense. Nothing wrong with the swing.
Yeah, that's an old saying there. You got to get that bat a little bit smarter. make those guys have to make tougher plays. I mean, he's hitting it hard, but they're just standing in the same place. The ball's right there.
Up the middle. Diving stoppage short by Terrio, and the Cardinals are lucky that it was Butler running up the line. Just got him by a step, and Westbrook gets out of a mess in the fourth. No score. We've had good pitching today. Wouldn't necessarily say it's been great pitching, because we've had 2 leadoff doubles for the Cardinals, didn't turn into runs, and then the Royals just had the bases loaded, nobody out, and didn't score.
Well, I'd say the defense is really helping Nate Adcock. Malcolm Cabrera in center field's made 2 really nice plays, and Jake Westbrook has helped himself with a 1-2-3 double play. So the ball's on the ground, so the guy's got to really work hard in those situations, kind of get the ball in the air.
So a career high 4 innings for Adcock. His previous career high was 3 1/3. 9 1-2 hitters coming up here in the 5th inning. Tyler Green hit one right on the nose in the 2nd inning, but lined to left. He is 0 for his last 13. Still 0-2. Lewis Coleman is just starting to warm up in the Royals bullpen. He is not even throwing off the rubber yet, just playing catch behind the mound. So that would indicate that the Royals are getting ready, not necessarily feeling like Nate is wearing down at all, but he is in uncharted territory as far as his big league career, so just want to be prepared. And after Green bats, the Cardinals will be beginning their 3rd time through the order.
I think what Bob McClure is starting to look for here with Nate in this inning, Ryan, is seeing the quality of the pitches that he throws. And if he's up in the zone a little bit or work deep counts, it might be a good indication he might be tiring a little bit.
His best inning was his last inning. In the 1st, the Cardinals with 2 runners, including a leadoff double, another leadoff double in the 2nd, a hit and a walk in the 3rd, but in the 4th, 3 up, 3 down. Inside, 3-2. Almost everything has been away to Green. Out over the plate. Backhanded by Escobar. Strong throw is just in time.
Just got to pay attention to Escobar's feet here once he makes the throw. I mean, he really can get those feet moving fast and get himself in a throwing position very fast. And I'll tell you what, Hosmer at first base, a lot of guys will have to jump for this ball. He uses the base to get up as high as he can without trying to leave the base. But what he does, he uses the base right there to get higher rather than actually having to jump for the ball. That was a Game 6 call. No.
Well, now I understand why the players, and especially first basemen, are going to those new tap dance looking shoes with the white tips, because you figure the white tip just blends in with the base and it looks like the toe was on the base.
The old spats.
Yeah.
But I tell you, take a guy who is real familiar with first base. A lot of first basemen who are not familiar with position would have actually jumped for that ball and would have been clearly off the bag. What Hosmer did, He tried to use the base to get as high as he could without actually jumping. And that's part of the confidence that the infielders have with him over there, is that they don't have to be perfect. They know that he's agile enough over there and familiar with position enough that he can make all the plays. And I talked to him before the game. And he says, I feel very confident on balls in the dirt, because I figure on balls in the dirt, I can help my guys. Anything high above my head, I can't help them too much.
If Matt Trainer was a little fuzzy in the day game after the night game, he is wide awake now.
Man, that is dead center right there. Woo.
Got him looking. Adcock has struck out 4 and 4 2/3 scoreless.
Well, they've seen this pitch before. I mean, this is running right in on the right-handed hitters. They give up on it and it gets the inside corner. They always say, well, don't leave it up to the umpire in that situation. Try to foul it off. Try to get you a better pitch. But that just catches the inside corner. Matt Trainer frames the ball very well for Angel Hernandez, and Nate Adcock gets a strikeout.
And now 0-1 on John Jay. Hey, if you want to take your Royals tailgate to the next level, cater with Jack Stack Barbecue, the official caterer of the Kansas City Royals and Kauffman Stadium. We'll see how far Nate Adcock goes, but he has just retired the last 8 Cardinals in 5 scoreless innings. A job well done by Nate Adcock. 5 scoreless innings, and he is today's Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment.
Well, Nate Adcock has given the Royals everything and more in this first start, Ryan. It's a good combination of pitches he's used, and it only allowed 3 hits in this ball game in the 72 pitches. So Nate Adcock can take this and walk away with a gold star.
Aviles rolls to short, 0 for 2. Look at that, Frank. Unless that Kansas City police officer is going to warm up. Nope. We might see Adcock in the top of the 6th inning. They are moving to the mound now. It was Lewis Coleman warming up in the 4th. Adcock had a quick 4th inning. He had a quick 5th inning. So maybe Coleman is mostly warmed up and it won't take him long to loosen up again. But if the Royals were to have a very quick inning here, and it was a 2-pitch at bat to Aviles, and if Trainer and Getz were to go down quickly, that's not enough time for somebody to just start warming up and coming into the game.
Well, you're right about that. They wouldn't have enough time, but they're just kind of milling around. I think get the 2 outs and probably start throwing again.
Jake Westbrook has matched him. He has given up 2 hits and 4 1/3. He has recorded 13 outs and 10 have been on the ground. Two balls, 2 strikes. We told you about Westbrook's big numbers, an ERA over 6 before the game, an opponent's batting average over 300, but he's coming off a very good start. So he was feeling good coming into the game, and that's his 2nd strikeout. Here's today's AT&T trivia question. Who is the Royals' all-time wins leader by players born in Kentucky? Todd Wellemeyer. He didn't win many, but he was from Kentucky. Kevin Schenk tells me he is 2nd. Behind second base and into center field. Chris Getz is 1 for 2. And that's the Royals' 3rd hit.
All Chris does right here, Ryan, just beats this ball. He hits around it, beats it up the middle. That's probably as good a place you can hit this ball, get it up over Jake Westbrook's head. It's got top spin on it and makes its way into center field.
I believe former Royals outfielder Brandon Berger was from Kentucky. He didn't pitch. But for that matter, I mean, Colonel Sanders was from Kentucky. If we want to name Kentuckians. 0-1 on Escobar.
Wow.
Now, Kevin Shank, would this be a recent Royal? Would this be a Frank White era Royal or a pre-Frank White era Royal? Post Frank White era Royal. So from 91 to 2011. Gets runs. Molina throws it into center field and backed up well by Rasmus. Good anticipation on his part to be charging in. So Getz has his 8th stolen base, and the Royals have a runner at second.
He gets a real good jump here. Molina has a real good pitch to throw, but let his arm drop and the ball really tailed back toward the runner. And like you say, that center fielder, he gets on it real quick. He can hold that base runner at second base. So good backup job by Rasmus in that situation.
There are a lot of center fielders that will just kind of stand around, and then when they notice the overthrow, they start coming in. Well, it's too late. As soon as you realize the hitter's not going to put the ball in play, you're not hurting anybody by charging in and being there in case of an overthrow.
Right, you just got to get there, and the second baseman, whoever's not receiving a throw, they got to take a deep route also in a backup position.
That stolen base for the Royals is just their 3rd in their last 9 games. And now Getz wants 3rd, and Escobar pulls it foul. The Royals had gone 3 days without a stolen base. Their last was in the final game of the Cleveland series. Trying to do something to get the offense going. Royals with 14 runs scored in their last 7 games. Still 1-2 on Escobar. And just because they haven't had many stolen bases doesn't mean that the running game hasn't played a factor, especially today. Now, it didn't lead to any runs, but aggressive base running in the 4th. Melky Cabrera with a base hit to left field or left center field with Alex Gordon at first base. Alex went first to third. The throw went to third. Cabrera took second base. Getz runs again. It's poked to the right side and into the glove of Pujols. And at the end of 5, just like last night, we have no score. Five excellent innings from Nate Adcock and no score to the top of the 6th. After 72 pitches, Adcock is out. The Royals make a Chevy call to the bullpen, and they bring in Lewis Coleman, and he'll get Albert Pujols, Matt Holliday, and Colby Rasmus. The American League is hitting .135 against Coleman, and normally the advantage goes to the pitcher. Young pitcher facing veteran hitters for the first time. Albert Pujols has grounded out and walked, just 1 out of 4 in this series, with 2 walks and a double.
Now the Royals pitchers continue to pound Albert Pujols inside.
Pujols hit by a pitch last time up. Adcock trying to pitch him inside, and a riding fastball that got away from him and hit Pujols on the left hip. get a very good swing, and you don't say that very often about Albert Pujols.
Well, you get so many pitches inside, and you tend to be mentally looking inside it, and this pitch goes to the outer half, and it almost like Albert jumped at this pitch, you know, versus taking a good swing at it.
Everything either on the edge or just off the edge. "15 career home runs against the Royals, and 13 of the 15 right here at Kauffman Stadium." He wanted to do more with that pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He is in the middle of a 92 at-bat home run drought. Alex fighting the sun, wins the battle, makes the catch. To answer today's AT&T trivia question, who is the Royals' all-time wins leader by players born in Kentucky? Want to take a stab at it? Oh, Paul Bird.
I had no idea.
Forgot all about that. Al Broughton strikes again. Outside to Matt Holliday. He's made one of the key outs today. In the first inning, the Cardinals were threatening with 2 on, 1 out. Had their second leading RBI man at the plate, and Holliday leading the league in hitting at 357 at the time, and he hit one right on the screws, but Melky Cabrera ran it down in center field. Holliday at the moment is just 2 for his last 21. 2 balls, 1 strike. Battling a sore left quad lately, so the DH has been a good fit for him. He had an appendectomy on April the 1st. Pops up a slider, and now Getz fights that tough sun. Makes a 2-hand grab, 2 away. Coming up on June the 3rd, the Royals will host the Minnesota Twins at 7:10, and that's our next Fireworks Friday and Buck Night. So you can purchase hot dogs, small Pepsi products, and peanuts for just $1 each, and then stay after the game for a great fireworks show presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Royals will be on the road, Baltimore and Texas beginning on Tuesday, and then home to face the Angels, the Twins, and the Blue Jays. It's going to be a long homestand. The Royals will play 11 games between Memorial Day and June the 9th. And the Royals have a long road trip. Colby Rasmus is grounded out, struck out. That was against Nate Adcock. He is 0 for his last 8. Two and one.
Yeah, Nate, also Lewis Coleman, he's done a good job, Ryan, of mixing things up. You know, early in his appearances, it was always fastball, fastball, fastball. Then he's incorporated the slider and then also the changeup. So he's becoming more of a pitcher in the game, and his accuracy has just been very good, especially with his slider.
He has been with the Royals since April 20th, so 1 day over a month when Kanekoa Teixeira was sent to AAA. Still 2-2, and jumping off the mound after that foul ball. So Lewis Coleman picks up where Nate Adcock left off. A 1-2-3-6 with a strikeout.
There's no score as we go to the Sonic Slam inning, and our contestant is Kathy Inslee from Kansas City, Missouri. I'm sorry, Kansas City, Kansas. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Kathy will win $1,600. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Kathy will win $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
Don't get that wrong.
No, they're too close together.
Third time through for the Royals. 3 hits first time through against Jake Westbrook. Royals in the 4th with Alex Gordon leading off. Got a single, and Melky Cabrera singled. That put runners at second and third when the throw went to third. Eric Hosmer walked. Bases loaded, nobody out, but Westbrook got out of it, getting Jeff Francoeur to ground into a 1-2-3 double play, and then Billy Butler grounded out. This flies in the face of, well, leadoff guy doesn't really have to do anything different because he only leads off once. Alex Gordon is leading off for the 3rd time today. 3-1. Leadoff walk. So Alex on base again twice, as he was last night. 3rd walk given up by Westbrook, and you can see the frustration all over his face, as does Tony La Russa, keeping a close eye on Westbrook. Melky Cabrera has singled and grounded out to second base. Normally, sinker ball pitchers are good guys to run on because everything is down, but Westbrook is so quick to the plate, and Molina has a great arm.
Well, I tell you, that's 2 good combinations right there. Chris Getz did get a good jump when he went. And a lot of times catchers have good arms. They try to be too quick sometimes, and you see that run on his throw when Chris Getz stole second base. So that could work to your advantage also. But if ground balls are part of it, then it's also a good opportunity to hit and run if you want to. And that could open up a hole and give you a 1st and 3rd also.
Westbrook is suspicious. His sinker has been sinking. The Royals only have 3 outs in the air, and one of them was a soft line drive to first. So really only 2 true flyouts. 10 outs on the ground. Showing bunt, but it looked like he had no intention of bunting, and lets a pretty good pitch pass by. Unless maybe he thought Alex Gordon was going to run.
That was my thinking, is that he was giving him a pitch to try to steal. Then he could also be taken all the way to try to get ahead in the count. Then I give him a better situation to hit.
Chris Getz stole second last inning. Royals had gone 3 days without a stolen base and had only 2 in their previous 8. And now Melky is down, no balls, 2 strikes.
I think Jake Westbrook's done a pretty good job of sort of frustrating Alex at first base. He's changing up his delivery. He's quick. He's even quicker. And his last time out, Alex jumped, wanted to go, but couldn't get that good jump because Westbrook was a lot quicker to the plate on the last pitch.
Got it in on the hands. John Jay, sunglasses on, sunshine reflecting off the glasses, makes the catch. 1 on, 1 out. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg, producer Kevin Shank, director Steve Kurtenbach. Associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is TJ McGinnis. Throw to first. Got him. Molina could use big Eric Hosmer as a screen. Perfectly executed.
Well, the ball's coming down underneath the Hosmer swing, and that was a great pitch for him to turn and throw to first on.
So nobody on, 2 out. This has gone both ways today, where teams have had promising starts to inning, and then the inning just dries up and blows away. Cardinals have had a couple of leadoff doubles today in the first 2 innings against Adcock, failed to score. Royals with a leadoff walk in the second. Bases loaded, nobody out in the fourth, and a leadoff walk here in the 6th, and they're still looking for their first run. 3 balls, 1 strike on Hosmer. Westbrook has not given up a home run in 46 2/3 innings. Hosmer was trying to end that with that swing, and it's 3-2. Reaching and pulls it to right field again. John Jay fighting the sun, leadoff walk, but the Royals only send 3 to the plate in a scoreless 6th. Now, just like last night, no score at the end of 6 innings. Royals and the Cardinals. Pepsi Max is the official soft drink of the Royals and the Fox Sports Kansas City broadcast booth. You'll never sacrifice taste for 0 calories again with Pepsi Max. Look for these Frank White Pepsi Max cans at your neighborhood Hy-Vee. New look, same great taste. Pepsi Max, 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. Lewis Coleman took over for Nate Adcock in the 6th inning. Faced 3, retired 3. Yadier Molina, Alan Craig, Daniel Descalzo in the 7th inning. Royals got 5 scoreless innings out of Nate Adcock in his first major league start. His previous career high for innings pitched was just 3 1/3, and that was a month and a half ago. Molina doubled leading off the 2nd inning, and not only could the Cardinals did they fail to get him to the plate, they didn't even get him to third base. Cardinals also had a leadoff double in the 1st. Two and 2. Between Adcock and Coleman, they have retired the last 11 Cardinals. Over the mound. And Getz is right there, and there is one away. Also coming up during the next homestand, Saturday, June the 4th, it's the Royals and Twins at 6:10, and the first 20,000 fans will receive a Willie Wilson bobblehead presented by Farmland. It is a 4-game series with Minnesota, so a Buck night on Friday night, and the Willie Wilson bobblehead on Saturday, June the 4th. It looks nothing like Chris Getz. Fouled away by Alan Craig, who is the victim of the best defensive play by the Royals today after Molina's leadoff double in the 2nd. Alan Craig hit a drive to deep center field, and Molina was convinced it was going to drop and he was going to score, so he was about halfway in between 2nd and 3rd, but Melky ruined those plans.
Oh, he made a nice play. I mean, he just readjusted, sprinted straight back, and caught that ball going backwards over his shoulder. Outstanding play.
And right on cue to Melky in center field again. The wind pushes it. Melky lost it. It bounces over the wall for a double. So Alan Craig to center field again, but this time he uses the sun, and he has a one-out double.
Well, you really hate to see that. I mean, Melky did everything he could, tried to use his hand, tried to get it out. The ball had to be right in the center of the sun for him not to see it, because he did everything an outfielder should do and try to get this ball on the edge of the sun.
Now Ned Yost is out, and he'll bring in Tim Collins. And the Cardinals have their first base runner since the third inning. So another Chevy call to the bullpen. Collins comes on with a runner at second and one out. Well, just as we were talking about Melky Cabrera's great play against Alan Craig in the second inning, he lost a fly ball in the sun and ended up bouncing on the warning track and over the wall for a double. So Tim Collins on for Lewis Coleman. He inherits a runner at second base with one out. Tony La Russa acknowledged yesterday that the pitcher normally has the advantage over the hitter if the hitter is facing that pitcher for the first time, provided that the pitcher is throwing strikes. And Ned Yost, of course, he has a roster full of rookies, but he has thrown 6 pitchers against St. Louis in this series so far. 4 are pitchers the Cardinals have never seen before, including Tim Collins, and his big curveball is in for a strike to Daniel Descalzo.
I like it when Tim Collins does that. When he comes out of that bullpen and get that first pitch breaking ball over for a strike, it really puts him in the driver's seat as a pitcher.
And now a good fastball at 95. Descalzo is 0 for 2.
Yeah, that curveball makes his fastball look even faster. You know, down in the zone. Kind of hard to get hurt down there.
Popped up. Trainer there for the second out. Here's that Willie Wilson bobblehead we were talking about. Saturday, June the 4th, Royals and the Twins at 6:10. A powder blue Willie Wilson.
What's that, a silver bat? Is that his when he won the batting championship? Is that?
There you go. And batting right-handed. One of my favorite stats of all time. As a switch hitter one year, Willie Wilson had 100 hits from each side of the plate.
That was fantastic to watch, and he's a natural right-handed hitter, so much stronger from the right side. But he had to work hard to learn how to hit from the other side. He just chopped the ball and run. And then he finally got a little stronger on the left side.
1-1 on Tyler Green, 0 for 2. And 0 for his last 14.
I mean, Collins looks really quick today. These guys are really rested, and they probably feel a lot stronger. And he's just doing a good job of mixing his pitches and just driving that fastball down in the zone.
Got that one up to 96. Two and two. Nate Adcock went 5 scoreless innings, only allowed 3 hits. Lewis Coleman, an inning and a third, gave up the double to Alan Craig. He is at second base, and now Collins is 3 balls and 2 strikes against Tyler Green. walk, and now 2 on for the top of the order. Ryan Theriot doubled leading off the game. Got to third. Cardinals going to get him home. He's 1 for 3. We've had a couple of appearances from former Louisiana State national champions. Lewis Coleman started the inning, and he was on the mound when LSU won the College World Series in 2009. Theriot was with LSU when they won it in 2001. Francoeur is there in right field. Another double for the Cardinals and another scoreless inning. This Missouri Moment is brought to you by the Missouri Division of Tourism. And welcome to the Route 66 Drive-In Theater in Carthage. This is the last original drive-in theater named after the Mother Road. The screen is 96 feet wide, 44 feet tall, making it one of the largest remaining outdoor screens in America. Movies are shown every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Go to visitmode.com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. No score to the bottom of the 7th inning. That was the same situation last night when the Royals came up.
Well, in the 7th inning last night, Billy Butler leads off with a base hit. And then Wilson Betterment follows with a double. And Brian Pena, sac fly. Another base hit by Getz. Then Francoeur. Oh, we're back to the live game here.
Pena, Escobar, and Cabrera driving in the runs. A couple of sacrifice flies. Royals have had very few opportunities against Jake Westbrook today, but they had a golden opportunity in the 4th with the bases loaded and nobody out. But Westbrook against Jeff Francoeur got a ground ball back to the mound. It was a 1-2-3 double play, and then with runners at second and third and 2 outs, Billy Butler grounded one up the middle. Ryan Theriot made a diving play, threw out Butler.
They've really seen some good baseball in the last couple of days, and again today, and not only from a pitching standpoint, but it just gives you an idea of when your pitchers are putting the ball in play early, how your defense and your pitching really works together. And on both sides, they've been great plays made.
Several innings ago, we talked about that this game could come down to which defense plays better, with 2 contact starting pitchers in Adcock and Westbrook. Off the end of the bat into center field. Rasmus is right there, 1 away. Well, this is when the Royals start to put it together, and they scored 3 runs in the 7th inning last night. So 77 runs in the 7th inning or later, most in the major leagues, 2 more than the Cardinals. So they've been doing the same thing. Royals also lead the major leagues in runs scored in the 8th inning or later.
Right, another good indicator when you have 2 pitchers that are pitching well, or if your team is pitching well, and as you look at the columns under sacrifice, whether it be sacrifice bunt, sacrifice fly, that means runs are pretty tough to come by, and you're trying to win the game late for the most part.
Below the knees, 2 balls, 1 strike. Three and 1. 32,229 on a beautiful day in Kansas City. Original forecast called for thunderstorms all throughout the weekend. Most of those thunderstorms arrived early yesterday. No problems during the game last night, and just a perfect day to be at Kauffman Stadium today.
Yeah, all the rain we've had lately, I think the fans deserve a break, and this is a great break.
Look at that sky. That away, Swanee. Can't teach that kind of camera work. You're either born with it or you're not. Look at that slider. That had Billy giving ground and bending backward. It's only 3 strikeouts for Westbrook. 2 down in the 7th.
Yeah, it starts it inside, and they just called it right down the middle of the plate, actually. And that's one that don't normally make you buckle too much. But Billy, once you flinch, you just can't swing after that.
He is 1 out away from 7 scoreless innings, and this is what he did on Monday. He gave up 1 run, 4 hits in 7 innings to the Phillies. So, yes, his overall ERA is 6.07, but now we're talking about 13 2/3 innings.
Well, and he was battling Cliff Lee in that last game.
That's
too,
right.
So he had to be perfect. He knew he had to keep the score down.
And now 3 hits today, 6 2/3. 20 outs, half of those have been on the ground. Shallow left center field, Mike Aviles has the Royals' first hit since the 5th, and a runner at first with 2 down.
It's not a bad pitch by Westbrook. Mike hits it right on the end of the bat, just lofts it out in the left center field, and just right on the end of the bat.
Wind has just continued to pick up all day, and now gusting out towards left field and left center. And so if Westbrook is getting tired, the first sign of a sinker ball pitcher that he's getting tired is that the ball is up. And I bring that up because in his first 4 innings, 12 outs, 9 on the ground. And now in his last 3 innings, he has 1 ground ball out. So he is starting to get the ball up. Aviles is picked off to end the inning. Mike Aviles picked off for the 4th time this year, and this comes with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. He argued the call quite a bit with first base umpire Angel Campos, but there's glove on the jersey before the right hand gets to the bag.
Yeah, you almost have to anticipate a pickoff throw in this situation. Close game, you haven't been on base, and you take a look at Westbrook. If you watch that left knee, it bends early, which gives the runner indication that they're going to go to the plate. Mike takes a step, then the throw goes back over. So that's what a lot of base runners key on. That when they see that knee come up, they think they're going to go to the plate. He just spins and throws to first base. Same identical move as Natalie Feliz with the Rangers.
Now, we don't know what was said on the field, but it didn't appear that the Royals were arguing that it was a balk. They might have been, but there was nothing clearly visible, pointing to the knee or motioning what he may have done. It seemed to be that they were arguing whether Aviles was tagged in time. One ball, 2 strikes on John Jay. Tim Collins got the final 2 outs of the 7th in relief of Lewis Coleman, who went an inning and a third. Nate Adcock in his first major league start went 5 scoreless innings, only gave up 3 hits. Overthrew that pitch, 2-2. Just missed. 3 balls, 2 strikes. No score last night until the bottom of the 7th inning, and now today no score through 7. John Jay, Albert Pujols, Matt Holliday coming up in the 8th. Might have been ball 4. Escobar, now he fights the sun and makes the play. Panera takes us around the league. Interleague play, Blue Jays and Astros, big rivalry, huge. Jose Bautista has 2 more home runs.
That's unbelievable.
The Battle of Ohio, that's a series that affects both teams here, with the Cardinals in front of the Reds and the Royals chasing the Indians. Dodgers and White Sox. Of course, they played in the World Series a long time ago. Back in the days when there were no playoffs. You went right from the regular season to the World Series. Pujols got a curveball up and lines it to center field for a 1-out single. So 2 hits in the first 2 games, but no RBIs and no runs scored.
Well, you always feel lucky when you keep him in the ballpark, and you watch this curveball, he just tracks it, coming right. Everything's been in on him today, so he's probably looking inside anyway, and this ball comes in, he's looking in that direction, gets a base hit out in the center field.
Another pitching change for the Royals, and it will be Blake Wood coming in to face Matt Holliday. Good starting pitching for the second game in a row. Royals and the Cardinals, and today's Jaguar Performance Players of the Game. Well, let's begin with the starting pitchers again.
Well, Ryan, I tell you, if you want to see what sinker ballers are supposed to do, you see 2 of the better sinkers today with Nate Adcock and Jake Westbrook. Both guys have been able to get deep in the game. Well, Nate went 5, and Jake Westbrook 7 innings.
So Blake Wood becomes the 4th Royals pitcher today. And here it's Pujols at first with 1 out, and will pitch to Matt Holliday. Ball 1. Holliday lined to center in the 3rd inning. A big out, 2 on, 1 out. Melky Cabrera ran it down. And Matt Holliday is 2 out of his last 22. Still hitting .352. What a swing. Might have gotten Matt Trainer on the follow through. 1-1. Two and 1.
No, right, Matt Holliday could be a reason why a lot of people do like the DH. And, you know, if not for the DH, he probably wouldn't even be able to play in this game. And the Cardinals could have easily been without 2 of their better players in this game in Lance Berkman. So with the DH, he's able to still get some at-bats and not have to worry about how fast he runs. And it doesn't hurt your ball club that way. So, but you got his bat in the game.
Lately, the American League has dominated interleague play, but I've always felt the advantage goes to the National League because they know how to handle the pitcher in the lineup. And then when the American League comes around, you just plug a DH in there like Matt Holliday, who just hit one into the water, and the Cardinals take a 2-0 lead.
You talked about it last inning, Ryan, how the flag and the wind has been picking up a little bit more in the left center field. And Matt Holliday gets a fastball down and in, gets it up in that wind, and he's strong. And this ball gets out of there in a hurry.
One run charged to Collins, 1 to Wood. Ball 1 to Colby Rasmus. Remember last year, Rasmus was 5 for 11 here at Kauffman Stadium with 2 home runs. But in this series, 0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts. He is the only Cardinal in the lineup today that has faced Blake Wood. That was Matt Holliday's first ever at bat against Blake Wood. Hit it into the second tier of the fountains. Great movement on that pitch. That just ran away from Rasmus. 2-1. The estimated distance on Matt Holliday's home run, 433 feet. And wet. Still 2-2. So the Cardinals get their first 2 runs of this series after being scoreless in the first 16. And we go back to the Cardinals being the best scoring team in the National League on the road, about 6.5 runs per game. No runs last night, and they didn't score today until the 8th. Angel Hernandez flinched, so he thought about calling it a strike, but left the gun in the holster.
We're going to take a good look at him here. Well,
center field, and Melky makes the play in front of the track, 2 down. Coming up on June the 5th, the Royals will host the Minnesota Twins. That's a Sunday 1:10 game, and the first 8,000 kids receive a Slugger Kids pillowcase presented by Fox Sports Kansas City. For more information, visit royals.com/promotions. So that Minnesota series, a lot going on. Fireworks, Willie Wilson bobblehead, and the Slugger Kids pillowcase. Remember your first kid set of sheets? Did they make theme sheets when you were a kid?
Can't recall.
No. I had Star Wars sheets.
If I had to take a guess, I'd probably say Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny. Star Wars. Good stuff.
It's probably about time I changed those out.
Probably so. They probably tucked away in one of those bags that you compress and get them flat and store them somewhere underneath your bed. So they're probably there still.
Yeah, Sarah might be tired of looking at C-3PO. Come to think of it. Is 40 too old to be sleeping in Star Wars sheets?
I don't know. You got a Chewbacca pillow.
Tough inning for Blake Wood. He gives up the 2-run home run, a bullet out to center field, and now a walk to Yadier Molina. And now he'll face Alan Craig, who's had good swings today. And before he does that, he'll hear from pitching coach Bob McClure. Now there's Royal Man and Royal superfan Chris. Think they have Star Wars sheets?
I'd hate to guess.
I mean, he only has a baseball seam down the center of his face. I don't know. Chris got him a new hat, kind of a baseball green glittery thing. Looking rather somber after the Matt Holliday home run here in the 8th inning. Trying to figure out how the Royals are going to tie this game. Of course, the Royals are the best in baseball, scoring from the 7th inning on and from the 8th inning on. Alan Craig has lined a deep center field. Melky Cabrera made a fine running play. That was after a Yadier Molina leadoff double. And then he doubled to center field when Melky lost the ball in the sun. And now Molina decided to take off for second base just to make things interesting. And Molina and Getz have words. So the inning is over, but Matt Holliday hits a 2-run home run.
Royals trail the Cardinals 2-0 at Kauffman Stadium. Immediately following the game on Boulevard Royals Live, we will review the day of Nate Adcock. First major league start for him. plus 3 rookies, including Adcock facing Albert Pujols for the first time. We'll look at that. Highlights, reaction, Jeff Montgomery analysis, and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live out at Rivals. Ryan?
All right, Joel, thank you. And now Jake Westbrook is trying to go 8 innings for the Cardinals. He'd only been going about 5 innings per start, but he has given the Cardinals 7 shutout innings today. And going back to his last start, he's allowed 1 earned run over 14 innings. Mitch Meyer is going to bat for Matt Trainer. Strike 1 from Westbrook. The Royals have only left 3 runners on base in the first 7 innings. They had the bases loaded with nobody out in the 4th. A couple of leadoff walks, 1 in the 2nd inning and 1 in the 6th. Otherwise, Jake Westbrook has been in control. Two and 1. Three balls, 1 strike. In his last start, when he went 7 innings against Philadelphia, that was his season high. So 1 more out and a new season high for Westbrook. And he gets a ground ball to second base. Green throws out Meyer. Remember last inning we were talking about Westbrook possibly wearing down. The bite on his pitches seemed the same. But in the first 4 innings, he was getting nothing but ground ball outs. In fact, 9 of 12 outs were on the ground. He only had 2 true fly ball outs in the first 5 innings. And now with that ground ball out to second base, that's just his 2nd ground ball out since the 5th. So sometimes a sign that a pitcher's wearing out. Ball stays up, more outs in the air. 11 on the ground, 3 strikeouts. And now he has 6 outs in the air.
I think another thing you can look to is another indicator is deep counts, and that'll give you an idea. Those two kind of go together.
Pujols with a backhand swipe. He'll go to the bag himself. By the way, we looked at the replay with the final out of the top of the 8th inning, and it looked like Getz and Yadier Molina were having words as Getz applied a high tag on Molina. They were jawing at one another as the inning came to an end, but at closer look it appeared that Getz was making sure that Molina was okay after a high tag. So that's what that conversation was about. And now strike across the knees to Alcides Escobar. Oh and 2. Right at 100 pitches.
Well, that slider down and away, that's a pitch that Esky really chases a lot. He's got to really learn how to lay off that pitch, and if he does that, he'll get better pitches to hit. But as long as he shows that he has that tendency to want to chase that pitch, pitch is going to continue to throw it.
Tried to come in through the back door, and it was low. 2 and 2. Even though Westbrook is 3-3 and his ERA is over 6, when you look at the whole season, lately he's been somewhat of a good luck charm for the Cardinals. They've won 5 of his last 7 starts. On the ground again. Green gets a big hop, and this afternoon Westbrook has a season high 8 innings, allowing no runs on 4 hits. There was no score today through 7 innings, but in the top of the 8th inning, Matt Holliday provided today's Chevrolet play of the game.
Well, and the play it was too, Ryan. He picked on a fastball from Blake Wood to put the Cardinals up 2-0 with this swing.
5th home run, RBIs 29 and 30. Coming off of Blake Wood, 1-run charge to Tim Collins. Brian Pena behind the plate in the 9th inning as Mitch Meyer batted for Matt Trainer. And here's the return of Robinson Tejeda from the disabled list. So he missed more than a month, going down with soreness in his right shoulder. Second straight year that Tejeda went out early in the season. Last year, he had troubles with his right biceps. Got off to a slow start last year, finished very strong. They'll get the lower third of the Cardinals order in the 9th inning. Broken bat, and because of that, it's going to drop in front of Melky Cabrera. He hits that a little harder. Melky has a play, and Alan Craig has his second hit.
A really good pitch by Tejeda, runs right in on Craig's bat, and you can hear the bat kind of break from here. And just lofts it out in the left center field. Cabrera comes up quickly, but the ball dies, and he doesn't have a play on it.
Now Daniel Descalzo, 0 for 3 today, 0 for his last 9. And the Cardinals trying to add on. Hosmer throws down to second base and just got it. Even looked like he checked out the play for a moment before he unloaded the throw and just barely got Craig at second base.
Well, this just being right on top of your game right here. This is where it helps to be a left-handed first baseman. He picks this up. He actually takes a look to see if he's got a play, and then he makes sure that he gives Escobar a nice throw. Good fielding position. Right into his crow hop. Nice throw to second base. That's one of the things you notice right away about Eric Hosmer is how he just gets that ball and gets rid of it. And the ball stays straight when he throws it down the second base. Doesn't run a lot.
And now another bunt attempt. 94 miles an hour on the radar gun, and while many scouts, especially old school scouts and old school baseball people, they say they hate the radar gun. However, with Robinson Tejeda, his velocity was so low before he went on the disabled list that the Royals couldn't help but look at the radar gun. Fastball was topping out 90, 91 miles an hour. Normally Tejeda can be anywhere from 93 to 97. So the shoulder is feeling better, the velocity back up, and he was ready to come off the disabled list.
I think pitching coaches especially don't like it, especially if you got a pitcher on the mound that after every fastball he throws, he glances up at it. Then all of a sudden want to throw it a little bit harder and that type of thing. So I think it does have its purposes, and I think one way is when velocity starts to shrink, it may be a good sign of injury. And in Tejeda's case, it proved to be true.
Very close.
That's another good value of a left-handed first baseman. The catch and tag is applied a lot quicker with a left-handed first baseman than it is with a right-handed first baseman. And you can see right there that was very close at first base.
0-2. When Tejeda went down, he had pitched 5 1/3 innings. Gave up 10 hits. That's a .417 opponent's batting average, and only 1 strikeout in 5 1/3 innings. One and two. Tejeda, in his first 10 outings last year, had an ERA of almost 13, but then he pulled it together. And in his final 44 outings, an ERA just a little bit over 2. In the dirt, blocked by Pena, but Descalso got a good break and no chance for a play. That'll be a wild pitch.
You can see Pena did everything possible to keep this in front. It hit catches get real soft. And you don't want it to come off that hard, but when it went to the right side, then it made it easier for Descalso to get to second base. And you always admire base runners who got to go right away on those plays, and that's the only way you're going to make those plays at second base. Once you see the ball going down, they take off.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Tyler Green is 0 for his last 14. He has reached today with a walk. Cardinals with 2 in the 8th inning. Matt Holliday hit a 2-run home run against Blake Wood. Royals shut out the Cardinals last night 3-0, and now the Cardinals trying to return the favor today. Still 3-2. A mixed chorus of "Let's Go Royals" and "Let's Go Cardinals." Crowd of over 32,000 here today. A mixture of red and blue. And what a beautiful day it has turned out to be. And now Pena and Tejeda are going to talk over this 3-2 pitch. Brian really seems to be a proactive catcher in that department. If there is any concern, any debate over what the pitch is, he does not hesitate to call timeout, go out and talk about it.
Well, he really wants his pitcher to feel comfortable in what he's going to throw, and if he wants to talk him into something, then he's got to convince that pitcher that this is what I want you to throw. But in Tejeda's case, he's probably going to run the show on that one.
Tried a breaking ball. Green walks. And there are 2 on for the top of the order. And that'll bring up Ryan Theriot, who doubled in the first inning, giving him a 7-game hitting streak. Ryan Theriot from Baton Rouge. Went to Louisiana State, won a national championship in 2001, but his favorite player growing up was Ozzie Smith. So he must be thrilled with the opportunity to play for the Cardinals. Maybe get a chance to see Ozzie Smith in spring training, or if he drops by the ballpark during the year. Originally from the Cubs organization and played part of last year with the Dodgers. Runners will move up again. 2 wild pitches in the inning, uncorked by Tejeda.
Now, Brad Pena has no chance on this pitch. It not only was in the dirt, but it came up real high. And I think it was just fortunate they kept this pitch from going to the backstop. Just a slider that came back the other way.
So the Royals are forced to bring the infield in. Two 2-0 on Ryan Theriot. Fastball at 93, so the best fastball we've seen so far from Tejeda has been 94. 3-1. Greg Holland is warming up behind Tejeda. Tejeda's given up a single, got it out on a force out, and now a walk and 2 wild pitches. Popped up. Melky Cabrera makes the catch. Descalzo coming in from third, and the throw is wide. That's a gamble with Melky's arm, and that's not a long throw, but the Cardinals take a 3-0 lead.
He's in good position right here, Ryan. He just buries this ball down in the ground. A lot of times when you have to make this throw, you try to overthrow it, and only 2 things going to happen. You're going to either throw it down in the ground like that, or you're going to airmail it. So just a little bit better rhythm and catch and release, and you know he's got a better arm than what we just saw on that throw.
Now John Jay with a runner at second base. 1 for 4 with a 3rd inning single. In the bottom of the 9th inning, the Royals will have the top of the order. Alex Gordon, Melky Cabrera, Eric Hosmer. 2 balls, no strikes. Out of play, off to the left field side. In a game where we figured we'd see a lot of the bullpen, with Nate Adcock making his first major league start, and figured he might go 4, maybe 5 innings. Well, the Royals got 5 scoreless innings from Nate Adcock. Lewis Coleman an inning and a 3rd scoreless, and now Tim Collins, Blake Wood, and Robinson Tejeda have all allowed 1 run. There's a good fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Talk about a pitcher winding up before he throws. John Jay, the hitter, kind of winds up before he swings. Fouled away.
That's got a nice hitch back there. Just dropped his hands and tried to get him back in that right hitting spot. A lot of guys go back when the pitcher's arm going forward. He sort of drops his hands and just comes back up to the hitting zone. It should get him one of those mechanisms that try to get you above the ball. A lot of times the guy drop his hands, he'll keep him down there, but he drops them, but he gets them back up in the hitting area.
Reminds me a little bit. There's a fastball at 95. That's a good sign. Reminds me a little bit of another former Cardinal, Ray Lankford.
Oh, yes.
Kind of had a lot of movement before the pitch comes in. There's the hands you're talking about.
Yeah, see, they went down, but you see that the level, how level they are right there at that point. Then it comes right down off the shoulder, so it's really a nice swing. You know, hitting is all timing anyway. Your hands can go a lot of places, but in order to hit, they have to be right there in the hitting zone with the ball.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Robinson Tejeda just grinding through this inning. A single, a walk, 2 wild pitches. Green at second base. And that's hit in the air to the right side. Chris Getz makes the play. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Royals are down 3-0. Alex Gordon on base twice today. Melky Cabrera has a hit. Eric Hosmer has been on base. The scoreboard says make some noise, and the Royals need to make some noise as they bat in the bottom of the 9th inning. And will face Fernando Salas. We saw Ryan Franklin last night who began the year as the Cardinals closer, has only 1 save. Cardinals have 14 this year. Salas has the most, but Eduardo Sanchez has 4. Trevor Miller has 1. And Mitchell Boggs has 3. And Alex Gordon has been a true leadoff hitter today. This will be his 4th plate appearance. All 4 leading off the inning. He has led off the 4th with a single and in the 6th with a walk. So at the moment, both teams have a closer from Mexico. Fernando Salas, an undrafted free agent in 2007 by the Cardinals. No balls, 2 strikes. Royals have been running into good pitching, it seems like, night after night. And even though they beat the Cardinals last night, the Cardinals have won 4 of their last 5 games. And they have given up only 8 runs in their last 5 games. And they've held the Royals scoreless for 8 today. Now 8 1/3. Alex is 1 out of 3.
The kind of pitching that the Royals have seen the last few days, Ryan. The thing you can't do in close games when there are not a lot of runs, you can't beat yourself, and you got to make the plays on defense, and base running mistakes mean a lot in close ball games. So that's the only way you're gonna win close ball games. You got to eliminate the mistakes.
Melky 1 for 3 with a 4th inning single. There are only 2 Royals who have faced Fernando Salas before today, and one of them is Melky. Faced him last year when Melky was playing for the Braves. Jeff Francoeur also saw him twice. Tyler Green, we've been saying his name all day. There are 2 down in the 9th inning. It's a 7th time today Tyler Green has handled a ground ball, and now 2 down, nobody on for Eric Hosmer. He has a 5-game hitting streak on the line. The inning that is gnawing at the Royals more than any other is the 4th. They had the bases loaded with nobody out in a scoreless tie, and Jake Westbrook was able to get out of it. And no balls, 2 strikes on Hosmer. Up the middle into center field. So the Royals are still breathing. Hosmer has a 6-game hitting streak. The Royals need 1 more runner for a chance.
Well, you really have to admire the way he makes an adjustments at the plate. Now his lower half is already gone, but see how he extends those arms. He always has enough left back that when he does hit the ball goes off his guy. He's got a very live bat, just back through the middle, but you can tell he was just completely fooled with that pitch.
Francoeur takes a strike. It was his ground ball double play that turned that 4th inning around. With the bases loaded, Francoeur grounded back to Westbrook, and he began a 1-2-3 double play, which put runners at 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs. And then Billy Butler lost 2 RBIs on a diving play up the middle by shortstop Ryan Theriot. Since that inning, the Royals have had 4 base runners. Jake Westbrook with a season-high 8 innings. And he's given up 1 run in his last 15 innings, but now the game is in the hands of Salas. Off the plate, a lot of spin. Salas picks it up with the bare hand, and now the Royals and Cardinals have traded 3-0 shutouts. So the series is tied, and we'll be right back. Well, the Royals picked up their second shutout of the year last night. Now they're shut out for the second time this year, falling to the Cardinals 3-0. Just 5 hits for the Royals today, but they ran into Jake Westbrook perhaps at the wrong time. He's won back-to-back starts, giving up just 1 run in 15 innings.
Well, Ryan, this goes back to that 4th inning. To win close games, you really have to come through in the clutch, and the Royals got that. Jake Westbrook's got that 1-2-3 double play, and that kind of turned the fortunes for the Royals.
Nate Adcock in his first major league start goes 5 shutout innings, giving up just 3 hits. So the Royals are shut out today. It's not the end of the world, or maybe it is. If we do come back tomorrow, it'll be Sean O'Sullivan against Jaime Garcia. Garcia is off to a 5-0 start. Game time 1:10. Royals Live begins at 12:30. If it is the end of the world, Frank, it was a pleasure working with you. Boulevard Royals Live is next.